Hello everyone, good morning and good morning din po Sir Jack. Our topic is Chapter 20, the Building Discount Formula, and I am Julius Aquino, the first reporter. My topic is all about calculating the present value. The time value of money concept highlights that a dollar today is worth more than a dollar in the future. This is because money has a potential to earn interest or grow over time. Sinasabi na ang isang dollar ngayon ay hindi na magiging katulad ng isang dolyar sa hinaharap. Think of it. If you have a $1,000 today, you can invest it and potentially earn interest, making it worth more than $100 in the future. To make fair comparison between money received today and money received in the future, we will be using discounting. Discounting is like converting future. You can see the example is orange in the apple. The orange is the money received later into the present app, while the present apple is the money received today. This is done by calculating the present value. The present value of a future amount is the equivalent value of an amount in today's term. It takes into account the potential for money to grow over time. By understanding the discounting and presenting value of you can make informed financial decision making, investment, or asset that pay out different points in time. Sa chapter 19, pinapakita ron na kung paano makukuha ang future value. It relies on compounding. May tatlo yun. Ito ay ang future value of a lump sum, future value of a series of deposit, and future value of a lump sum plus deposit to be discussed by other group. A dollar today grows by applying interest or interest katulad ng nasa screen habang tumatagal ay mas lalong nadadagdagan katulad nito. So you can see there the understanding compound interest, the year 1, year 2, and year 3. And ngayon ay ipapakita ko kung paano ito i-compute using the Excel. So now is nasa Excel na tayo and ipapakita ko on how to compute the discount rate or interest rate. But before that is allow me to read first the example in the PPT or in the power link. For example, suppose that you put $10,000 initially and $100 per month into the investment that pays 5% annual interest. After 10 years, the future value of an investment will be $31,998.32, assuming that the inflation rate stays constant at 2% per year. What is the investment future value worth in today's dollar? So, ang una ko munang ipapakita sa inyo is on how to compute the discount factor. So, first thing to do is click equal sign, then the 1,000 ay $1, this one, and then multiplied or divide by divide and click the parentheses, then 1 plus rate or 1.02 yung amount, yung 1 and then yung 2%. Then open parentheses again, then the this one they call it circumflex, then MPER or the number of periods, which is 10, this one, then equals to, so yan, lumabas na yung hinahanap natin na or need natin na discount, which is nandun rin sa PPT. This turns 0.82, but ikakopy natin yung buo, 0.82033483. Next is taking inflation into account. The future value of an investment tells you or us how much money you will have at the specific point in the future. However, it does not tell you the actual purchasing power of the money. Imagine this. You invest $10,000 and it grows to $10,000 in the 5 years. You might think that that's great, but if inflation has been running at 3% per year, that the $10,000 in 5 years will only be able to buy about $8,600 worth of goods and service in today's dollar. This is because inflation erodes the purchasing power of a money over time. The same amount of money will buy less as price rise. Therefore, to understand the true worth of the future value, you need to discount it back today's dollars by taking inflation into account. This is where the concept of present value comes in, helping you make informed financial decision by comparing the future value of a money across different points in time. So here is an example we will be using later. You can see here the discount rate is the inflation rate. Ito yung example ko kanina sa Excel paano ma-compute. So Lastly, to the important part of my topic, in calculating the present value using the PV. Ito yung magagamit nyo or natin na formula and getting the present value. The computation is PB, parenthesis, rate, comma, and PER, or the number of periods, comma, payment, PMT, or payment, comma, FB, or the future value, comma, and type. Then parenthesis. So, halimbawa, ang formula na ito ay formula na ito. And using another example or another solution on another formula on getting the present value. And this is PB, parenthesis, inflation rate, comma, the number of period, comma, 0, and comma, future value, parenthesis. Ito rin ay aking ipapakita mamaya sa inyo. Pero bago tayo pumunta ng Excel, remember that anytime you see the PV function, PMT argument 0, you can ignore the type argument because it is meaningless without any payments. So you can see here the note, yan po. So now we are here in Excel and I will show you how to compute the future value and the present value. Kanina is pinakita ko kung paano makuha yung discount factor, and ito yun. So we will be repeat it. Just click equals 1 and then divide, open parenthesis, 1.02, then parenthesis again, and then you circumflex, then enter, then ayun, lumabas na siya. Then now we will be computing the future value and the present value. But before that, I will show you some formulas that can help to compute the future value and the present value. Just click the formulas here in upper, this one, then find the financial, then click it, and then makikita natin dito yung future value, which is this, then yung present value, which is this. Pwede din nyo din pala makita dito yung rate, ayun. Then, so, first is we will be computing the future value. Just click it, and then makikita nyo yung function function arguments. Then kung hindi kayo masyadong or hindi pa masyadong familiar or nahihirapan kayong gawin yung ganito, is we can use it by using, we can solve it by doing this. Just click equals, then just click equals, then the FB capital letter, then parenthesis, also, then complete na natin. Lalabas din dito yung sinabi kong formula kanina, kung nakita nyo ito. Then we will be computing the interest rate annual. Just click it, and then divide 12, comma, then the terms, years, term in years, which is 10 multiplied by 12, then comma, then the deposit per month, which is this also, and comma, then yung initial deposit, then comma, then even though sinabi natin na yung deposit type is meaningless or ignored, is ilalagay na lang natin siya para hindi tayo malito or hindi din tayo malito. Just click this, then parenthesis again, and then enter. So ayun, lumabas na yung sagot. 31,998.32. We will be put here na lang. Type na lang natin para hindi tayo malilito. Ayan. Remember na even though hindi siya nag-read, kasi may dun sa yung example sa Excel sa link is mayroon siyang open and close parentheses dito. Then dito is hindi siya nag-read. Sa present value, remember that our solution or yung kung paano siya i-compute is PB parentheses rate, comma, and PER, comma, permit, comma, and then type, and then negative future value, or just put minus or negative there before the future value. Kasi kung hindi nyo lalagyan ng ganun is magiging negative yung sagot nyo dito. And pinakita rin dun sa link. So we will be computing the present value, or kung gusto nyo rin naman na gamitin ulit yung sa financial, is nandito lang din naman yun. Ito. Ayan. Lalabas ulit yung function arguments. Yeah. But if you're not still familiar, you can use still this one. Capital letter of PV, and then of parentheses, then the rate, which is this inflation rate 2%, comma, then the number of periods, which is the 10, this one, then the put the 0 or the type, and then comma, then yung future value. Lagyan natin yan, negative future value, then comma, then enter. So, ayan, lumabas na yung sagot na 26,249.77. And also, pwede nyo din gamitin yung ganito. First one is just because this. But there are some defects. I don't know kung ano yung ano. Kaya na ko pa siya inaayos, pero you can use the future value and then yung discount factor na 82. But there are some defects na kung ang gagamitin is yung 82 is hindi siya magbabalance dun sa future value discount factor. So, the better na gagamitin is yung 0.8203483. Try lang natin ulit pag kung pwede na siyang gamitin. Kasi kanina ko pa siya nilatry. Ngunit hindi siya nalabas. Ayun, nalabas siya. Hindi niya ako kinaya. So, yan. Now, natapos na natin on how to compute the future value. And then, the present value discount factor and the present value of PV factors. So, that ends my report. And the next reporter is Miss Diana Kate Tobera.
Income investing versus purchasing a rental property. If you have some cash to invest, one common scenario is to wonder whether the cash is better invested in a straight income producing security such as bond or certificate or in a rental property. So, dahil nga sa mag-i-invest ka, syempre mapapaisip ka kung saan yung mas worth it or yung mas malaki yung balik. Kung sa income producing security nga ba or sa rental property. So, para malaman mo or ma-estimate mo kung saan nga yung mas mataas, matutulungan tayo ng PV. One way to analyze this is to gather the following data. On the fixed income security side, find your best deal in the time frame you're looking at. For example, you might find that you can get a bond that matures in 10 years with a 5 yield. On the rental property side naman, find out what the property produces in annual rental income. Also, estimate what the rental property will be worth at the same future date that the fixed income security matures. For example is, you might be looking at a rental property that generates $24,000 a year and is estimated to be worth $1 million in 10 years. Given this data, and ignoring complicating factors such as rental property expenses, you want to know the maximum that you should pay for the property to realize a better yield than with the fixed income security. So, para malaman nga natin yung kung sino nga yung mas better, kung yung fixed income security ba or rental property, is gagamitin natin yung PV. So, with this, given data, para mas malaman talaga natin. So, punta tayo sa Excel. So, this is the given data dun sa income investing versus purchasing a rental property. Yung sa fixed income yield annual is 5% and then sa term years is 10 years. While the rental income sa annual niya is $24,000 and then sa future value of rental property is $1 million. So, para makuha natin yung maximum amount to pay for rental property is, gagamitin natin yung formula na ito. Ito, PV, B2, B3, B4, B5. Yung PV, this one. This one. So, let's try it. Pin natin ito and then equal sign, then PV, close and open parenthesis, then pinutin lang natin yung 5% which is fixed income yield annual, and then comma, 10, itong 10, term or years, comma, B4, rental income annual, and then comma, future value of rental property, and then close and open parenthesis ulit. Then, enter. Enter mo lang, yun na. Makukuha mo na yung sagot, which is $799,234.89. Kahit palitan natin ng percent, which is 7%. Na agad yan, parang naayos na, na-fix na kahit papalit-palitan mo pa yung given is mako-compute nyo na or mag-a-adjust na siya mismo. Pag ang nakuha mo daw na amount is mas mababa pa kaysa sa binayad mo dun sa property, it means that the property is better deal than the fixed income security. Pero pag mas mataas pa daw yung nakuha mong amount kaysa sa pinambayad mo sa property, you better off going to fixed income route. Next is buying versus leasing. Another common business conundrum is whether to purchase equipment outright or to lease it. Again, you figure the present value of both sides to compare them, with the preferable option being that one that provides the lower present value. This ignores complicating factors such as depreciation and taxes. So, dito natin makikita if ano ang mas maganda sa business. Kung bumili ng bagong equipment or mag-rental na lang or mag-lease ng equipment. Para malaman natin is ikukumpara natin yung present value ng dalawang options. Yung bibili ng equipment at magre-rent. For discount rate, you plug in a value that represents either a current investment rate or a current loan rate. For example, if you could invest the lease payment and get 6% per year, you would plug 6% into the function as the rate argument. For example, suppose that you can either purchase a piece of equipment for $5,000 now or lease the equipment for $240 a month over 2 years. Assuming a discount rate of 6%, what the present value of the leasing option? So now, itatry na natin yung PV function sa Excel. Dito is may nakaredy na akong yung mga given data para mas mapadali. Yung discount rate is 6% and the term year is 2 years and then yung lease payment monthly is $240. Then yung future value of equipment is 0. So kasi nga sabi kanina is walang value. And then yung purchase price is $5,000. Yung formula is binigay na din at nandun din sa module, which is this one. This one. So, ito try na natin. Ang kukunin natin is present value of leasing options. Lalagay natin is equal sign, PV, close and open parenthesis, D2, which is discount rate, slash, 12, and then B3, asterisk, 12, comma, B4, comma, B5. Then, close and open parenthesis, then enter. Ito na yung sagot. $5,415.9. Then, para din makuha yung present value of buying option is equal sign, tapos D6 which is purchase price, plus PV, close and open parenthesis, D2, slash 12, comma, B3, asterisk, 12, comma, 0, comma, B5. And then close and open parenthesis, enter. Yeah, 5,000. So, ito yung nakuha natin with this given data. Mas mapapansin natin na yung mas mataas yung leasing option kaysa sa buying option. So, mas okay na bumili tayo ng equipment kaysa mag-rent. So, what if naman pag the equipment has a future market value on the purchase side or residual value on the lease side? This won't make much difference in terms of which option is better because the future value for equipment raises the two present values by the same amount. However, note how you calculate the present value for the purchase option. This is the formula. That is, the present value of the purchase option is the price less the present value of the equipment's future market value. For the lease option, you include the residual value as the PV function's future value argument. So, kahit pa may market value ang equipment sa future or may residual value sa lease, hindi ito masyadong nagbabago or nag-iba sa comparison ng dalawang options. Pero para mas maintindihan natin is, punta tayo ng Excel at itry natin. So, dahil parehas din lang naman, ika-copy-paste na lang natin para mas madali. Ito din, copy-paste. Papalitan lang natin yung mga given dahil may ibang pinalitan din. Kagaya nung sa future value of equipment. Papalitan lang natin yung given sa future value of equipment, which is from 0 magiging $1,000. Pero negative pa rin. And then, yun na, makukuha mo na agad yung present value of leasing options kasi nga, meron ng formula na nakalagay dyan kanina. Kinape-paste na natin, which is ito. And then, yung sa present value naman, is nagiba din kasi nga, nagiba na din agad kasi nga, mayroon na rin dyan formula na nakalagay, which is yung, ito din, yung nasa taas ito. So, makikita natin sa result na halos konti lang yung agwat, pero mas mataas pa rin yung present value ng leasing options kesa sa buying options. So, mas okay pa rin na bumili na lang kesa mag-rec.
So, good day po everyone. Ang part ko po is yung sa discounting cash flows. One very common business scenario is to put some money into an asset or investment that generates income. By examining the cash flows, the negative cash flows for the original investment and any subsequent outlays required by the asset, and the positive cash flows for the income generated by the asset, you can figure out whether you've made a good investment or not. So, when you invest money, like buying a property, you have money going out, or yung cost, and money coming in, yung income. To see if this investment is good, you need to compare all these cash flows over time. But money today is worth more than money in the future. For example, 100 today is better than 100 in 10 years because you could invest it and grow it. So for example, nag-offer ako sa'yo ng 100 ngayon or 100 in 5 years, syempre, ang pipiliin mo is yung 100, pipiliin mo yung ngayon. Kasi if you take it today, you can invest it and you can grow it. Like, mas mag-generate or maglalago yung pera na kukunin mo ngayon kaysa sa kukunin mo pa after 5 years. For example, consider a situation discussed earlier in this chapter. You invest in a property that generates a regular cash flow of rental income. When analyzing this investment, you have 3 types of cash flow to consider. Ayan yung negative, positive, and another positive cash flow. Yung negative cash flow is yung the initial purchase price, which is yung $799,235, and an assumed sale price of $1 million gives you the same return as a 5% fixed income security over 10 years. Dito naman sa annual rental income, ito yung every year you earn income, you earn rent. This is yung positive cash flow. And the price you get by selling the property, ito yung after 10 years na makukuha mo after you sell the property for $1 million. Para siyang another example ng positive cash flow. Let's verify this using a cash flow analysis. Figure 20.5 shows a worksheet set up to show the cash flows for this investment. Row 2 shows the net cash flow each year. In practice, this would be the rental income minus the costs incurred while maintaining and repairing the property. Row 4 shows the cumulative cash flows. Note that columns F through to I or yung years 4 through to 7 are hidden so that you can see the final cash flow. So let's move on dito sa Excel. Ayan. So ito yung mga given na sa material na pinrovide ni Sir Jaram. So dito ay sa cumulative cash flow, syempre ang ilagay natin is yung given now, which is yung purchase price, which is yung $799,235. So dito, ang gagawin natin is yung sum ng ayun. So, ayun. Dito, kukuha natin yung sum ng B4, which is yung purchase price plus yung $24,000. So, yun. Tuloy-tuloy lang natin gagawin yun hanggang sa ma-reach natin yung 10 years para makuha natin yung income after 10 years. Tuloy-tuloy lang siya na gagawin natin. Yun. So, ayan. Ang nakuha natin or na-accumulate natin is yung $440,765. So, bakit nga ba mahalaga na malaman natin yung um, gaano kahalaga yung kung paano lalaki or paano natin may invest ng mas malaki yung pera natin. Like, kapag gagawin natin to, it helps us decide if buying this property better than just putting my money in the bank. So, yun. So, if yung NPV is positive, is yes, which is dito sa example, is positive siya. So, kapag hindi, pag ang lumabas is naka-negative, maybe the bank is safer. So, ayun.
Good day, everyone. My topic for today is calculating the net present value. But before we proceed to the calculating the net present value, let us define first what is net present value. The net present value is the sum of a series of net cash flows, each of which has been discounted to the present using a fixed discount rate. The difference between cash inflow and cash outflow and the positive value, it indicates the earnings on your investment, while the negative value is indicate the loss on investment. Let's have the example. So, ginawa na din to ni Arian kanina and ulitin lang kasi connected siya dun sa discounting. Yan, tuloy-tuloy lang siya. Hanggang sa makuha yung hanggang 10 years. To calculate the discount factor, 1 divide, open and close parentheses, discount rate, 1 plus discount rate, close parentheses, raised to the certain power, and here. Yan. Ito na process. Hanggang sa outcome. Thank you. And for discounted cash flow, multiply mo lang siya sa net cash flow. Pwede lang siya hanggang sa 10 years. And sa discounted cumulative cash flow naman, since 1 yung sa discount factor niya, isa-times natin siya sa discounted cash flow. Then, sa year 1 to 10, i-minus mo siya dun sa previous year. Since yung naman dito, kagawin tayo ng addition. Bigyan lang ng 10 years. Tapos yung sa 10 years is yung hindi sa natin. Ang tawag sa value is 0. Sa 9 sa ang tawag doon ay rate. Ay, zero siya. Tawag na per line. In other words, yan yung rate na. It's the rate that you must surpass to make the asset and investment worthwhile. So other topic is calculating the net present value using the NPV. The model built in the previous section was designed para lang ipakita yung relationship between the present value and the net present value. Fortunately, hindi mo na kailangan gawin yung lahat ng worksheet na yon every time na kailangan mong i-calculate yung net present value. Kasi may mas mabilis na method using the NPV function. So, bali pag isasama ko na yung net present value dun sa rate tsaka yung values. Rate is the discount rate over the term of the asset or investment, while the values is the cash flow over the term of the investment. For example, katulad lang dun kanina, for example, ganito ito yung pwede mong gamitin sa pag-calculate ng net present value. Equal sign NPV, then B7, B3 hanggang sa L3. So using the NPV formula, mas madali mo nang ma-determine yung net present value using the formula of NPV, equal sign NPV, open and close parentheses, rate by the B3 hanggang the 10th year and outside. So, ito yung net present value natin. Ganyan siya. We're na naka-adjust yung discount rate annually. If annual discount, dapat annual rate. Pero kapag monthly naman, kailangan mong i-divide yung annual rate sa 12 para makuha yung monthly rate or monthly discount rate.
Hello everyone, my name is Carl Vincent and I'm going to discuss to you the net present value with varying cash flows. Net present value with varying cash flows. The major advantage to using NPV over PV is that NPV can easily accommodate varying cash flows. You can use PV directly to calculate the break-even purchase price, assuming that the asset or investment generates a constant cash flow each period. Alternatively, you can use PV to help calculate the net present value for different cash flows if you build a complicated discounted cash flow model such as the one shown for the rental property in figure 20.6. You don't need to worry about either of these scenarios if you use NPV. That's because you can simply enter the cash flows as the NPV function values argument. For examples, suppose that you are thinking of investing a new piece of equipment that will generate income, but you don't want to make the investment unless the machine will generate a return of at least 10% in today's dollar over the 5 years. Your cash flow projection looks like this. Year 0, 50,000, which is the purchase price. Year 1, negative 5,000. Year 2, 15,000. Year 3, 20,000. Year 4, 21,000. And year 5, 22,000. So now, let's proceed to the sample problem. So we have a net cash flows in the year 0, which is negative 50,000, year 1, which is negative 5,000, year 2, which is 15,000, year 3, which is 20,000, and year 4, 21,000, and year 5, which is 22,000. And we have a discount rate of 10%. So para makuha natin yung net present value is maglalagay tayo ng equal sign and yung word na NPV and open parenthesis and copy natin yung discount rate, then comma, and copy natin yung net cash flows from year 0 to year 5, then multiply natin siya sa 1 plus the discount rate which is 10%. And makukuha na natin yung net present value na 881.09.
Next is net present value with non-periodic cash flow. The examples you've seen so far had assumed that the cash flows were periodic, meaning that they occur with the same frequency throughout the term, such as yearly or monthly. In some investment, however, the cash flows occur sporadically. In this case, you can use the NPV function, which works only with the periodic cash flow. Happily, Excel offers the XNPV functions which can handle non-periodic cash flow. Gamitin natin yung nandito sa chart, yung figure 20.9. Ilagay muna natin. Period. Net cash flow. Discounting. Discount rate. Tapos ilagay natin yung 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tapos net cash flow ay negative 10,000. Tapos 3,000, 5, tapos 1, 2,5, 3K, 2,5, tsaka 2,000. Tapos 3,000, 2,500, tapos 2,000. Tapos ilalagay natin yung may kulang pa dito. Isa. Mali. Dito cash flow date, dito discount rate, then PV. Dito lagay natin yung date 1 to 70, 2007, 15, 2007, 215, 2008, 615, 6, 7, 15, 6, 2008 pala yan. 2008 pala to eh. 15 to 2008. Tapos dito 31, 13, 2008. 31 Pro 2008. And then yung discount rate niya ay 10%. Para makuha natin yung NPV niya, pwede natin gawin yung ganito. Equals type X NPV, XNPV, parenthesis, tapos yung rate, yung values ito, tapos itong cash flow date niya. So lalabas na yung net present value niya. Na 844. So pwede rin natin gawin na ganito. Punta tayo sa formulas, financial, tapos hanapin nyo yung XNPV, tapos yung rate, ito pinutin nyo lang, tapos itong values niya sa net cash flow, and then sa dates, ito lang, cash flow dates, yan, okay, yun, lalabas na yung 844. So in calculating net present value with non-periodic cash flows, it involves adjusting the unique timing of each cash flow. This approach is crucial in real-world financial analysis where cash flow is often do not follow regular intervals. By applying the proper discount method and adjusting for the timing of each cash flows, financial analysts can make more informed decisions about investments or projects with irregular cash flows. This methodology enables the inclusion of irregular revenue streams or unexpected costs, leading to the more accurate evaluation of the investment profitability.
So, good day everyone. I am Rayadin Lagindin and I'm here to present to you the calculation of the payback period. So, first, let us define ano nga ba ang payback period. So, allow me to share my screen. Ayan. Imagine if you purchase a store, a piece of equipment, or an investment, your hope is always to at least recoup your initial outlay through the positive cash flow generated by the asset. The point at which you recoup, or kapag sinabing natin recoup, is regain or kailan natin mababawi. The initial outlay is called the payback period. So, in simple terms lang is kailan natin mababawi or ma-recover yung initial investment natin. When analyzing a business case, one of the most common concern is when the payback period occurs. A short payback period is better than a long one. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Simple lang. Kunwari, kapag nag-invest tayo or bumili tayo ng equipment, gano'n, di ba, mas gusto natin na mas mabilis natin mababawi yung puhunan natin. Ganon din sa business, di ba? Mas gusto natin na mas mabilis yung pagbawi natin ng initial investment kesa sa matagal. Imagine if nag-invest ka today, tapos mababawi mo pa 10 years after, 15, and so on. So, we have different ways to calculate the payback period. First, we have the simple undiscounted payback period. Finding the undiscounted payback period is a matter of calculating the cumulative cash flows and watching when they turn from negative to positive. The period that shows the first positive cumulative cash flow is the payback period. So, pag-iisipin natin, madali lang pala. So, kapag tinignan lang natin yung cumulative cash flow natin, and kung ano yung positive, unang positive na amount, is yun na yung payback period. For example dito, suppose that you purchase a store for 500,000 and project the following cash flow. We have the year 0 to year 6, net cash flow, and cumulative net cash flow. So, familiar naman tayong lahat kung anong sinasabi dito na cash flow. We have the cash inflow and cash outflow. Kapag sinabi natin cash outflow, ito yung mga cash na lumalabas sa atin or nilalabas natin. Kapag cash inflow naman, yun yung mga cash na pumapasok sa atin or natatanggap natin. Kapag sinabi natin cumulative net cash flow, so alam naman natin yung ibig sabihin ng cumulative, which is naiipon. So, dito, kapag titignan pa lang natin, alam na natin kung kailan yung payback period. Kasi, di ba, negative, 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 and then positive. Anong sabi dito? Watching when they turn from negative to positive. And the first positive cumulative cash flow is the payback period. So, anong year ba yung nag-positive dito? Year 6. So, dito pa lang, makikita na natin kung ano yung payback period. That is year 6. So, instead of simply eyeballing the payback period, you can use a formula to calculate it. So, meron tayong formula para makalculate yung payback period. So, mag-open muna tayo ng Excel. Share. So, dito, kinapit ko na yung example na nasa book. So, paano nga ba natin makakompute ang payback period sa Excel? Payback period. Nasaan natin? Ayan. So, sobrang simple lang. So, type natin yung equal, lookup function, lookup, and then close and open parenthesis, 0, comma, and then kunin natin yung from the year 0 na cumulative net cash flow hanggang sa payback period or the year 6. And then comma, and then yung year. From year 0 to year 6. Ayan. And then open and close parenthesis, then plus 1. Ayan, 6. Pareho ba siya doon sa book? Yes. Let's check. Diba? Same lang. Kasi dito, ang payback period nila is 6 years by eyeballing. Pero kapag ginamit natin yung Excel formula, simple lang din and madali. Ganun lang. Ngayon, punta naman tayo sa, diba? Same lang. Ayan. Next, punta naman tayo sa exact and discounted payback point. So, if the income generated by the asset is always received at the end of the period, your analysis of the payback period is done. However, many assets generated income throughout the period. Ibig sabihin kalagitnaan. So, kapag ang ginagamit mo is calendar, January to December, may mga asset tayo na nag-accumulate or nag-generate na ng income during March or October, August, ganon. So, yung yung net cash flow natin is nababawasan na kasi nga nag-generate na ng income yung asset na binili natin or yung asset na naging dahilan kaya tayo nagkaroon ng cash outflow. Ngayon, in this case, the payback period tells you that sometime within the period, the cumulative cash flow reaches 0. Diba? Doon nga sa cumulative cash flow natin, nababawas na kasi doon. Ay, kunwari, diba may cash outflow nga tayo. And then magkakaroon tayo ng cash inflow. So parang unti-unti na nating nababawi yung initial investment natin. So maaari na within the period is nag-zero na or positive na yung cumulative net cash flow natin. It might be useful to calculate exactly when during the period payback occurs. Kasi kanina di ba 6 years. So dun sa 6 years na yon, eksakto ba nasa pang 6 year is na-recover na natin yung initial investment. So dito naman, kukunin natin yung exact pero undiscounted. Assuming that the income is received at regular intervals throughout the period. You can find the exact payback point by comparing how much is required to reach the payback with how much was earned during the payback period. So ito. For example, suppose that the cumulative cash flow was negative 50,000 at the end of the previous period and that the assets generates 100,000 during the payback period. Diba? So, ang last na, cumulative cash flow natin is 50,000. Ngayon, yung asset natin, nag-generate siya ng 100,000 during the payback period, hindi at the end, during. So, assuming, dito pa lang, makikita na natin na yung negative na cumulative cash flow natin is magpa-positive na kasi mas mataas na yung mag-generate ng income during the period. Assuming regular cash flow throughout the period, this means that the first 50,000 brought the cumulative cash flow to 0. Ayun ang sinasabi dito na maaari na siyang ma-reach ng 0. Tapos, because this is half the amount earned in the payback period, you can say that the exact payback period occurred halfway through the period. So, kunwari, example natin kanina is 6 years, di ba? Doon, pwedeng na-reach na, nag-0 na yung balance 5 years and 6 months. Parang gano'n. And then, more generally, you can use the following formula to calculate the exact payback point. So, ito. Payback period less cumulative cash flow at payback divide by cash flow at payback. So, ito. Para mas maintindihan natin, gawin natin sa Excel. So, kunin lang natin yung given kanina. Copy lang natin. And paste. Ayusin lang natin. Okay po. So, una, kailangan natin i-compute ulit ang payback period. So, payback period. Again, equal sign, lookup function, and then open and close parentheses, 0, comma, and then the amount of cumulative cash flow from year 0 to the payback period, which is the 6th year and year, comma, and year. From 0 to, then open and close parentheses, and plus 1. 6. Kasi diba 6 year yung year 6 yung payback period natin kanina. Ngayon, papaano naman kapag yung exact payback period ang kukunin natin? Payback period. Sa exact payback period, we have two formulas. Yung una, equal sign, then payback period less the cumulative net cash flow at the payback period divide by cash flow at the payback period. And 5.75. Ayan. And then, ito yung sa una. Yung sa pangalawa, ganito. Equal sign. Again, the payback period less index function. Open and close. And then, from cumulative net cash flow of year 0 to payback period. Then, the payback period plus 1. Close. And then, divide by index function. And this time naman, ang kukunin natin is yung net cash flow, yung amount sa net cash flow. So, the same lang, from year 0 to payback period, which is the 6th year. And then, comma, and parang kanina lang, payback period plus 1. And then, close parentheses, enter. Same lang. Same lang yung lalabas, pero magkaiba sila ng formula. Ayan. So, kung yung iba sa inyo, siguro nagtataka kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng 0.75. So, dito, sa simple undiscounted payback period, or ito, yung 6, is, ano siya kasi, yung parang rough calculation. So, hindi siya super exact. Ayan. Dito naman sa exact payback period is kino-consider nila yung mga asset na nag-generate na ng income or may inflow na, ay cash inflow na during the period. So, ito, kunwari kasi, di ba, na-recover na natin yung full amount ng initial investment natin. Kunwari sa February or April, ganon. So, ito, yung 0.75, it indicates month. So, dito, yung 5 years. So, compute that, 75. That's lang. Equal sign, then kunin mo yung 0.75 times 12 months equals 9. Ibig sabihin, 5 years and 9 months is fully recovered na yung initial investment natin. Or yung payback period natin is 5 years and 9 months. Which, yung sa calculation is mas shorter siya kesa dun sa simple. Ayan. Same lang. Magkaibang formula lang. Let's check. Ayan. 5.75. So, pili na lang kayo kung anong mas madali sa inyo. Yung ganitong formula, yung payback period less cumulative cash flow at payback period, or yung cash flow at payback period. And then, ito. Mas mahaba nga lang. Ayan. Punta naman tayo sa next. So, this is the last one, the discounted payback period. Of course, the undiscounted payback period tells you only so much. To get a true measure of the payback period, you need to apply these payback methods to the discounted cash flows. This tells you when the investment is paid back in today's dollars. To do this, you need to set up a schedule of discounted net cash flow and cumulative cash flow for each period, and extend the periods until the cumulative discounted cash flow becomes positive. You can then use the formulas presented in the previous two sections. Ayan. And then, para mas maintindihan natin, gawin ulit natin sa Excel. So, I already prepared yung sa example and yung mga need natin kunyan to save time. Ayan. So, ulit, yung sa payback period, paano ulit yun? Equals, and then lookup function, open and close, and then 0, cumulative cash flow from year 0 to year payback period, and then the year. From year 0 to year 6, close and open parentheses, and then plus 1, enter 6 years. And then dito, gamitin na lang natin yung madali. Ayan. So, payback period less the cumulative cash flow sa payback period, and then divide by cash flow sa payback period. Enter 5.75. And then, ang given na discount rate natin is 10%. Ayan. 10%. So, paano natin kunin ang discount factor? Diba, na-discuss na to kanina. So, ito. Equals 1 divide by 1 plus the discount rate. Ano natin ang dito. And then, here. Yan. Discount period, drag lang natin. Ayun. Decimal lang. So, yung sa discounted cash flow naman natin is equal. And then, B3, or yung net cash flow, divide by 1 plus the discount rate. And then the year. There. So dito sa discounted cumulative cash flow, di ba ito nga yung mga balance pa na kailangan pa natin ma-recover. So dito sa year 0, since hindi pa naman siya nagkakaroon ng cash inflow or hindi pa siya nag-gain ng, nagkakaroon ng, ng gain. So, full amount pa yung need to recover. And then, kunin na lang natin ito. Dito naman, sa year 1, syempre nag-generate na siya ng income, which dito given is 50,000. So yung 50,000, kailangan na natin i-less doon sa discounted cumulative cash flow natin para malaman if ilangan or magkano pa yung need natin bawiin. So, equal, and then 50 since negative yan, plus and 10. Ate. Daga na lang natin ito. Ayan. And then kanina sa book na napasa natin is need natin i-extend yung period hanggang sa mag-positive. Ito. Dito sa example natin or sa payback period natin na pang 6 year is hindi pa nagpa-positive yung amount. So, kailangan pa natin mag-extend ng period. Let's say 7. Kasi masyado pang malaki yung 130, di ba? So, hanggang 10 siguro. Ayan. And assume na lang natin na 120 na lang din yung yung net cash flow nila. Then so, ayan, mag-automatic na yun. Yun na lang. And that is because of the formula. Ito rin ang kagandahan kapag gumagamit ka na ng Excel. Mas mapapadali ang buhay mo talaga. Dito, di ba, makikita natin na sa year 9, nag-positive na yung discounted cumulative cash flow natin. Ibig sabihin, ang payback period natin dito is year 9. Ayan. So, compute natin ulit yung payback period equals lookup function, and then 0. Ito, discounted cumulative hanggang payback period, then comma, year. Ayan. Open and close, plus 1. Diba? Tapos, payback period. And then, ulit yung sa exact payback period equals payback period less yung discounted cumulative cash flow natin sa payback period. And divide by discounted cash flow natin sa payback period. Enter. 8 point, wait lang. Dalang decimal lang. 8.25. Try natin dun sa, di ba dalawa yung formula ang ginagamit natin sa exact payback period? Try natin. Equals the payback period less index, and then open and close. Wait. Index. Then open and close. Ay, nalayuan natin. Yes. Open and close, and then, ito. Discounted cumulative cash flow. Yes. Comma, yung payback period natin, plus 1, then close and open parentheses. Divide by index, close and open parentheses ulit. And then, this time, yung discounted cash flow. Ayan. And then, ganun. Comma, and then, payback period, again, and then plus 1, comma, and enter. Ayan. Ito decimal lang natin. Ayan, diba? Same lang sila. Ganun lang kadali. Tignan nyo dito. Kahit i-dire-diretso nyo ito, makukuha nyo. Pero ang goal natin dito is mapalabas kung kailan yung payback period natin. The next presenter is Miss Jelly Ann Mangawang. Thank you po.
Hello everyone, my name is Jelly Ann, and I'm going to discuss to you the calculating the internal rate of return. So first, what is the internal rate of return? IRR is a financial metric used to measure the profitability of an investment. It also represents the discount rate at which the net present value, or NPV, of a future cash flow becomes zero. So I know, na-discuss na to ng previous reporter. Tutok tayo sa internal rate of return. So, paano makuha ang actual internal rate of return? Well, using the IRR function, you could figure this out by adjusting the discount rate up until the NPV returns zero. Pero, ang Excel offers an easier method in form of the IRR function. So, ayan. May dalawang function ng IRR. Is the values and the guess. Ang values is the cash flow over the term of the asset investment. While yung guess naman is an initial estimate of internal rate of return. And the default is 0.1. Pwede mong gamitin ito para mag-guess. So, caution lang daw, the IRR function values argument must contain at least one positive and one negative value. If all the values have the same sign, the function returns the none. Yung error, mag-error siya pag lahat ng values are the same sign. So, punta tayo dito sa figure. So, meron akong ginawa ditong spreadsheet. And code ko na din. Lagay na lang din natin. So, ito. Yung nakalagay dito sa may PDF is pina-vertical ko lang dito. Hindi na ako nag-focus dito sa discount rate at saka net present value. Ang kukunin lang natin ay yung IRR netong cash flow. So, let's start by putting the formula. So, equal sign, tapos IRR, and then open parenthesis. Ayan, so makikita mo yung values and guess. Not necessary naman itong guess, pero kasi pag may error ka, doon mo siya pwedeng magamit. Kaya pwede mo siyang lagyan ng 0.01. So after nitong open parenthesis, ay highlight na lang natin tong cash flow and then enter to get the IRR. Next is the calculating the internal rate of return for non-periodic cash flow. So, sabi dito as with NPV, the IRR function works only with periodic cash flows lang. So, if your cash flows are non-periodic, meron din siyang sariling function, which is ito yung IRR. No, IRR, same lang sila ng IRR, pero may nadagdag dito sa may function niya. Itong dates. Basahin natin yung dates. The dates on which each of the cash flow occur. Make sure that the first value in dates in the date of the initial cash flow All the other dates must be later than this initial date, but they can be listed in any order. Meron din siya ditong figure, so yan natin ito sa Excel para mas malalong maintindihan. So here, ilagay lang natin ulit yung formula. Equals, tapos, X, I, R, R. Open parenthesis. Pick natin tong cash flow. And then, comma. Then, piliin natin tong date. Kasi, non-periodic siya, kaya dito siya magbe-base sa ating date. Close parenthesis, and then enter to get the IRR. So natin kunin siyang in a percentage form. So, natin ng 100. So, ganyan siya. And then naman tayo dito sa calculating multiple internal rates of return. So, etong multiple internal rates of return, minsan lang siya or rarely lang na ang business ay nagbabayad ng cash for a major capital investment. Kadalasan kasi, naghihiram sila ng cash sa bank. So, when calculating the internal rate of return, two assumptions are made now. So, the first one is discount for negative cash flow is money paid to the bank to service borrowed money. So, the second one is the discount. And discount positive cash flow in money reinvested. And, pero, third assumption siya, yun ay yung finance rate for negative cash flow at yung reinvestment rate for the positive cash flow ay parehas. Ito ay nag-work din daw pag ginamit mo yung IRR function. Pero sa real world, usually hindi talaga ito nangyayari or rarely kung mangyari kasi most bank charge interest for a loan that is 2 to 4 points higher than that you can usually get for an investment. So to handle the difference between the finance rate and the reinvestment rate, Excel enables you to calculate the modified internal rate of return using the MIRR function. Ito yung mga function. So dito siya naiiba dun sa dalawa, literal na iba. Yung values lang yung parehas. So ito yung naibang dalawa. Finance rate and the reinvest rate. Finance rate is the interest rate you pay for the negative cash flow. While the reinvest rate, the interest rate you get for positive cash flow that are reinvested. So here, meron ulit siya nitong figure. So, meron ulit akong ginawa dito para mas madaling intindihin. So, ginaya ko lang siya dito. Yan. Lagay natin yung formula. MIRR and then open parenthesis. Highlight natin itong net cash flows. And then comma. And then finance rate. Comma again. And the reinvestment rate, close parenthesis, and enter. And that's it, the MIRR. Then,
So now, I will be discussing the last topic of Chapter 20, which is the case study on publishing a book. This case study looks at the business case of publishing a book, taking into account the costs involved and the positive cash flow generated by the book. The cash flow analysis will calculate the book's payback period as well as the yearly values for the net present value and the internal rate of return. So, understanding per unit constant. When publishing a book, we calculate costs and sales per unit, meaning yung per book niya. And these are the fixed values per book. And this means that for every one book, there are costs or earnings. And there are 6 constants we need to know. The first one is list price, the suggested retail price of the book. Meaning ito yung original price ng book before any discount. Second is the average customer discount, the amount taken off the retail price when selling the book to the bookstore. This is the usual discount na binibigay natin sa bookstore. And if a bookstore buys in a book, we sell it to them in a much cheaper price. Third is PP&B. This means paper printing and binding. Ito yung cost to produce one's physical copy of the book. Next is cost of sale, the per unit cost of selling the book, including commissions, distribution, and it includes other costs like delivery, selling expenses, and so on. Fifth one is the author royalty, the percentage of the list price that the authors receive. Meaning, ito yung nakukuha ng author kapag nakakabenta siya ng review. Ito yung shares niya, author shares. And lastly, the margin. This is our profit per book after removing all costs. So, para makuha ang margin, list price minus the customer discount, PB&B, cost of sales, and author royalty divided by the list price. So, for us to be able to understand more, gawin natin siya sa Excel. So, sulat muna natin lahat yung per unit constant. Yung anim na yun. The list price, average customer discount, PB&B, cost of sales, and author royalty, and lastly is the margin. Ayusin lang natin siya. Artehan lang natin ng onte. Cherries! So, let's assume that you have 24.95 list price, 45% average customer discount, 5 pesos na PB&B, and 3.75 na cost of sale, author royalty na 7.5%, and para makuha mo yung margin, you minus the list price sa average PB&B, cost of sale, and author royalty divided by the list price. So, ayan, may per unit constant na tayo. So, the next one will be the operating cost and sales. So let's talk about the different costs and sales figures that a publisher considers every year. So later on, I will show you what happens each year from year 0 to year 5. So starting at the year, the timeline of the project. Year 0 is the starting point. Ito yung nag-i-spend na tayo ng money but we haven't sold anything yet. Units printed, ito yung kung ilan bang libro yung napiprint natin during the year. Units sold, how many books we actually sold. Next is new title cost. Ito yung these are the one-time costs like editing, designing, preparing the book before printing. And nagkakaroon lang nito sa year 0. Next is total PB&B. This is the total printing cost based on how many books were printed out. So para makuha mo itong total PB&B, unless yung units printed value, i-multiply mo lang siya sa PB&B value doon sa per unit constant. Next is the marketing. Ito yung mga nagastos mo for promoting the book, like mga ads, posters, or events. Total cost of sales. This is the total selling expenses for the book sold. And para makuha to, you multiply the units sold to cost of sales value. Author advance. Ito yung magbabayad yung author as an advance payment. And we will place it in the year 0. This is before they even earn royalties. Next is the author royalties. This is the actual earnings given to the author from the book sold. And para makuha to, units sold times the list price and the author royalty value sa per unit constant. Sales revenue, this is how much money we earn from selling the book. And to get that, you multiply the units sold to list price minus the average discount dun sa per unit constant. Translation rights and book club rights. These are the extra earnings, extra income nila if we sell rights to translate the book or to include it in a book club. So let's try to put it in the Excel. So lagay natin yung year from year 0 to year 5. Ay, ayaw niya gumana. So ayan, from year 0 to year 5. So next is the units printed. So let's assume na in the year 0, you have 0 units printed, and year 1, you have 50,000 units printed, and dun sa natitirang year, let's assume na you have 0. The next is the units sold. Year 0 is 0, and you have 17,000 in the year 1, 10,500 in the year 2, 4,000 in the year 3, 3,500 in the year 4, and 3,000 in the year 5. So next is the operating cost. So i-input natin yung anim. The new title cost, total PB&B, marketing, total cost of sales, author advances, and author royalties. So next naman is the operating sales. First is the sales, translation rights, and book club rights. Yan lang tatlo. Sa operating cost, we have 6, and then sa sales, we have 3 lang. Oh, yun, may wrong spelling pa. So ayusin lang natin. So let's assume ulit na sa year 0 mo na new total cost you have 0, 250, and 000. Total PBNB mo 0. And para makuha mo yung sa year 1, you multiply the 50,000 sa PBNB per unit constant. And since 0 na yung remaining, 0 na din siya. For marketing, 0 in the year 0, 15,000 year 1, 5,000 year 2, 2,000 year 3, 2,000 year 4, and 1,000 the year 5. So, total cost of sale mo is 0 in the year 0. And para makuha mo yung year 1, you multiply the unit sold na 17,000 to the cost of sale sa per unit constant. Lagyan lang natin siya ng dollar sign and boom! Sa author advance naman, like what I've said earlier, in the year 0, the author pays as advance payment. So let's assume na nagbayad siya ng 25,000 and the remaining years is 0. Sa author royalties naman, in the year 0, you have 0. And sa year 1, para makuha mo yun, you multiply the units sold sa list price and author royalty value. Ay, ayaw. Lagyan mo lang ng dollar sign. And then yun, boom. Meron na. Sa sales naman, para makuha mo yung year 1, you multiply the units sold sa list price less the average customer discount. Sa translation rights naman, we assume that sa year 1 mo, you have 5,000 and the remaining year is 0. So next is the cash flow. Since the operating costs and sales are already available, we can now calculate the net cash flow for each year by subtracting the sum of the operating costs from the sum of the sales. So now let's input the net, cumulative, discount rate, discount factor, discounted net, and discounted cumulative. So, may hindi pala tayo na input the book club rights. So, in the year 0, year 1 is 0, year 2 is 1,000, and the remaining years is 0. So, let's compute na. So, makukompute na natin yung net. It's 25,000. It is the sum of the operating cost minus the operating sales. And then, ganun lang din gawin mo sa remaining years, and then boom. Sa cumulative naman, kung ano yung nasa net mo ng year 0, ganun din siya. But in the year 1, yung net mo ng year 1, i-add mo yung cumulative ng year 0. And ganun lang din yung gawin mo sa the remaining years and then yun, meron na. Sa discount rate naman, kung ano yung nasa margin mo ng per unit constant, yun lang din yung ilalagay mo. 12.4 or 12.43. Sa discount factor naman, ganyan lang yung gagawin nyo para makuha at mapalabas niyo siya. So 1 divided by 1 plus yung discount rate na 12.43 or 12.4 and i-ano mo lang siya sa year 0. So, ayun, ayaw, hindi siya nag-ano. So, imano-mano natin. Sige, isa natin gawin. Sa discounted net naman, i-multiply mo lang yung net na sa year 1 mo na negative 124,778.75 sa discount factor mo na 0.89. And then, ganun lang din yung gawin mo doon sa natitirang years. And then, yun, meron na. Meron ka ng discounted net. Sa discounted cumulative naman, sa year 0 mo, you have 25,000 kasi ginaya mo lang din yung nasa discounted net. And then, para makuha mo yung nasa year 1, i-add mo lang yung discounted net at discounted cumulative. And ganun lang din yung gawin mo sa remaining years and then boom, meron ka ng discounted cumulative. So ngayon, nasa last part na tayo which is the cash flow analysis. We will analyze whether the book is profitable or not, and we do this by calculating the cash flow or the money left after paying expenses. So the first one is the undiscounted payback period. Meaning ito yung year when the total cumulative cash flow becomes positive without adjusting for the time value of money. Meaning ito yung mag-start ka mag-generate ng money and you cover kung ano yung original investment mo. Undiscounted payback point, the exact point in the payback period at which the book's undiscounted cumulative cash flow turns positive. Ito yung exact point in time na talaga. And then this is where you start earning na. Discounted payback period, the year when the cumulative cash flow becomes positive after discounting future cash flow. In simple terms, dito mo malalaman kung anong taon babalik yung ininvest mo. Discounted payback point, the exact point when discounted cumulative cash flow turns positive. Same lang siya sa undiscounted payback point. But dito, kino-consider natin yung money losses value over time. Net present value, the value of all future cash flows adjusted for the discount rate at the end of the project. And this means that how much profit we really made. And lastly, the internal rate of return. Ito yung percentage return from the investment that makes the net present value. In simple words, it is the interest rate we earn from investing in this book project. So let's do the Excel cash flow analysis. So isusulat lang din natin yung anim na naka-under sa cash flow analysis. The undiscounted payback period, undiscounted payback point, discounted payback period, discounted payback point, and net present value, and lastly, the internal rate of return. So, para makuha mo yung net present value, you equal net present value So, yung discount rate mo na 12.43%, and then the net mo ng year 1 na negative 124,779,000, i-add mo yung net mo ng year 0 na negative 25,000 para makuha mo yung net present value. And then, ganun, lagyan mo lang siya ng dollar sign, and then, i-ano mo lang siya sa remaining years, and then boom, meron ka ng net present value for the year 0 to year 1 to year 5. And then, para makuha mo yung internal rate of return, so, i-multiply mo lang siya sa net mo nung year 0 na negative 25,000 hanggang sa year 2 na 81,063. And then, negative 0.01 of return na negative 42%. And then, sa year 2, you have 18%, negative 18%, negative 4%, 4%, and 4%. So, makikita nyo dyan na sa year 1 to year 3, hindi niya pa nababalik yung invest niya. But in the year 4 to 5, nagkakaroon na ng small progress. Kasi, but the 4% is very low pa din. Pero at least, kumikita na siya. And that's all for chapter 20. Thank you!